Hey y'all, Fat Man Outdoors. Today I'd like to have a little video talk with you about concealed carry or open carry weapons that are used in your defense, in the defense of your family, or defense of your property. Now, recently, some firearms magazines and some syndicated firearms writers have kind of been asking questions to try to find things out about percentage-wise of some of the things that happen with firearms in this country, and particularly focused on people who carry openly or concealed for defense, and on their ability to handle the firearm properly, and pretty much giving them a grade letter on, are you proficient? And that's pretty important. This video is going to be entitled, is it a weapon system or is it a rock? Okay, now you say, now Fat Man, come on, a rock versus a pistol. Okay, you see this is probably as an unfair match. What if the person that's handling the pistol knows little to nothing about handling the pistol? It kind of evens the odds, you know, because especially if you have a handgun that's not been properly maintained, it's not been inspected, you don't know if it's got something broke or malfunction. If that person that's shooting that pistol shoots the first shot and misses, now it's an even playing field. If there's a jam or a malfunction with the firearm in some way, or a malfunction in the feeding or something, you know, and it leaves you with a situation where you have to be able to clear that firearm, or you could have a misfire. I've never shot a 9mm per se that's come out of a box that didn't shoot. I'm sure some people have, but I'm going to say probably it's 1 in a million that you'll have one that won't. But in the event that one happens, and you're thinking, you're trying to operate off the seat of your pants here because it's a situation bad enough that you need to draw that gun and use it. Are you proficient with clearing that firearm, putting another round back in the chamber, and getting back on target with the next round? Now, a lot of us guys, we like to go shoot if it's out in the woods or on the range where we can go. I'm going to say our proficiency numbers would be pretty high. But a lot of ladies, okay, a lot of ladies, after they've done these interviews with folks and had them fill out surveys and got some percentages, going to be pretty shocked with what some of the numbers they come up with. Okay, so I'm going to read some of those off to you. I just jotted some down here on a paper that I gathered off of a website. I'm not going to use anybody else's website as a reference here because I'm not sure how that would work, and could be some stuff that was copyrighted and we just don't want to go there. But anyway, their leadoff was 65% of Americans who carry a handgun for protection, whether it be open or concealed, don't fire their weapon more than twice, to say more than 2 occasions per year after they purchase it. That's to say that 65% of the people that carry a handgun, whether it be open carry or concealed, don't take their gun to the range or out in the woods, or if you live in the country out behind the house, and shoot that gun more than twice a year. That tells me right there that there's not a lot of proficiency if that number's actually that high, 65%. And I'm going to say, in a way, I kind of feel that number might be low. A lot of people that I know, have had the same ammo in their concealed carry gun for years. I know a guy that carries a little small .38 revolver, 5-shot revolver, in an ankle holster. The same ammo's been in that ankle holster since 1994. 1994, that's 29 years, I believe, if my math's right. Somebody will call me on that, I'm sure, but I think that's what it is. That's 29 years that ammo has been in that gun. So that means that gun's not been fired for 29 years. That's crazy. Why would you put your life in danger with that and not be proficient with it. You know, I mean, if you in a situation where you have to pull that weapon out and use it, then you're in a situation where it's life or death, and that means you're relying on that weapon system to get you out of the spot you're in. Yet you haven't tested it in 29 years. That's kind of lackadaisical, to say the least. Okay, let's move on. And of that 65%, 45% never fire the weapon ever after the first event after purchase. That means they bought the gun, the day they bought the gun or the next couple of days after they bought the gun, they went to the range, or they went out in the woods, or they went out behind the house if you live in the country. They shot the gun a few times, maybe a couple of magazines or a couple cylinders, just to see how it shot, loaded it back up, put it back in their EDC carry holster, and never touched it again. That's amazing. Let's go on to the next one. Now, I estimated 30%, and I kind of think this number may be a little bit low. Estimated 30% of all concealed carry folks are female. That means it's our daughters, our wives, our sisters, our moms. And of that 30%, now right here, guys, is where the numbers, to me, start getting scary, okay? Nearly 75% of that 30% of all carry people consider themselves less than proficient with the weapon. They admit openly themselves, 75% of the women that carry a handgun, that they don't feel that they're proficient with the weapon. There's another number attached to this, to that very thing, and that is this: the percentage of women that admittedly said they know nothing about how to take the weapon down for cleaning or inspection, and what to look for in the inspection. This is a number that was come up from surveys of known gun owners. They put out some surveys in different gun shops and ranges and places all over the country, and gathered this data and put it together. 90% of women openly admitted they have no idea on how to take the gun down just to clean it or to inspect it, and knowing what needed to be looked at when they inspect it. So they could literally be carrying a gun around that's got something broke, bent, damaged, some kind of foreign material got down in it from being inside their purse, a bubblegum wrapper or something, anything. You all know it don't take a whole lot nowadays to cause some of these firearms, with the tolerances the way they are, to stop working, okay? But that 90%, that's amazing. And then at the bottom of that question, that was, they left an open line for a comment at the bottom of that question. And literally hundreds of these ladies that filled this out wrote, "My husband cleans and inspects my handgun." You're leaving them in a situation where we let them leave the house, let them go to work, let them go shopping, let them go wherever they're going. Our daughters, our wives, our moms, our grandmas. With a weapon system, it may work, it may not. Who knows how long it's been since it's been used, and who knows the condition it's in after it's been packed around in someone's handbag. And then if it does fail, they don't got a clue how to recover from that failure and still be able to deal with the threat. And it's not anyone's fault per se. It's just kind of the persona of people, I think, that no one wants to have to be shown, and no one wants to feel like they're pushing themselves on anybody. So I think a lot of ladies just say, "Yeah, I feel okay," just to get out of the situation, not have to deal with it any further, maybe not to look like they don't know. So, or guys may not want to interject doing this here, doing this there, because they don't want to say stuff to make it sound like they're trying to boss them. Ladies, y'all got to pull up and understand it's as much on you as it is the guy that's with you. Because if I hand my wife a firearm and she shoots it a few times, and I say, do you feel comfortable with that? You feel like you can handle it? And she looks at me and says, yes. I'm not going to pressure her, even though I probably should. But I don't want to start a stink, that trying to make her feel like she doesn't know nothing. And again, a lot of ladies may not want to openly admit, I don't know, or I need help. But if you don't feel comfortable with that weapon, it's a rock. That will not get you out of a spot. Pardon my French right here. That will piss off whoever you're in the spot with. And then you're in a lot worse position than you thought you was going to be. Ask, get help, learn. If you have to, get your owner's manual out to your handgun. It'll tell you how to take that gun down and the things to inspect. Okay, do that. Any kind of educating stuff you can get about your weapon system that you're going to carry, from the holster up, that's what you need to do. Go on YouTube, look up safe handgun techniques, and you'll find people that are brilliant, people like Jerry Michalek. That guy can teach you stuff. He's got video after video after video, and it's super informative, and the guy has a very teaching spirit, I think. He explains stuff in a laid-back manner, and will teach you, and he don't put no bunch of fuzz around it. As he says, I take everything out that don't improve what I'm doing. And it's a simplistic way. It's a less is more kind of a training that he does, and it works. The guy's the best in the world when it comes to a handgun. He's set basically every speed record you could shoot and accuracy record you could get with a handgun ever in the world. So, like I said, learn. That's the way to do it. If you don't want to ask somebody, pull out your mobile device and fire it up and go to YouTube or get on your laptop or whatever you do and go ask. Find some things out. Now, I got a little bit of a thing I want to throw into this. I'm trying to not make this video any longer than I have to, but it's probably going to be 30 minutes or so just bear with me and it'll be worth it. Got a couple of firing systems here. This is my personal everyday carry. You've seen it in videos before. It's a Taurus G3 9mm. I really like this little gun. It handles good, it's light, it shoots good. I like the design is a little bit narrower than a Glock. It's almost exactly the same thing, as you can see, and you can see the gun's unloaded. Alright, I'm going to show you a comparison here, side by side with this Glock. They're pretty much a mirror, okay? They're just about exactly the same. In profile, in the rake of the handle, everything. They're almost exactly the same. And that's just one kind of firing system, okay? This firing system has a very simple takedown. That it's just like a Glock, that when you push the slide, always double check, make sure it's unloaded. You slightly push the slide to the rear and you've got two little tabs, one on each side. You'll push those down, let go of the slide, and pull the trigger, then the slide comes right off. Now, as far as taking this gun down to clean it and inspect it, that's all you need to learn. It's two simple moves. Push the slide back, push down on the tabs, let the slide go, pull the trigger. And the whole top of the gun comes off. Then you can simply just remove the recoil buffer spring and the barrel. It's pretty much cleaned down to nothing after that. You can look in there and make sure there's no big chunks of dirt, no paper, no any kind of debris. Make sure the barrel's clean and clear. And then it's very simple to put back together. You just put the spring and stuff right back in, pop it right back down below that little ridge. And then when you go to put the gun back together, you just slide it on there and make sure it's lined up correctly, pull it all the way back, and the gun's ready to go again. Okay, very simple. all firearms have a takedown. Some of them are more complicated and take a little bit of time to learn. Most of them, especially nowadays, because there's a boatload of Glock copies. This is basically a Glock copy, and they all basically work the same way. The only difference between this gun and a Glock from barrel to butt is that this gun actually has a mechanical safety right there that you can push up right here, where a Glock doesn't have that. The only thing the Glock has is the trigger safety. Now, another type of weapon system you might see, and I brought this one out not because that I would consider this something you'd want to EDC, everyday carry, or try to conceal carry, but because it's large enough so you could see it. And that is a revolver. Now, this is a 22 caliber, 6-inch barrel, single action revolver that you load through a loading gate right there. Okay, and then after you get it, each time you turn the cylinder to click to one spot and you put another round in it and then you close it. Then to shoot it, you have to pull the hammer all the way back, then pull the trigger and it'll shoot, and the hammer doesn't come back again. So you can't pull the trigger and shoot it. You have to pull the hammer back all the way again. It's called single action. Now you can get some revolvers that you don't have to pull the hammer back on. You can just pull the trigger and it'll shoot what's called a double action. A lot of them are a lot smaller than this that people would use for concealed carry. To be honest, a lot of people will tell you that they don't think that a revolver or wheel gun is something they'd want us to consider as an everyday carry. But I'm going to tell you something. If you're proficient with it, if you can hit what you're aiming at, it's the chances of that weapon failing are very, 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 very low. Much lower than a semi-automatic, because there's so much going on in a semi-automatic after that first round. A lot of stuff can happen that's unexpected and you're down. As long as the bullets will fit in the cylinder of a wheel gun, you're in pretty good shape. You're going to be able to shoot it, more than likely. But the drawback to that is this gun holds 19. This gun holds 6. Okay, and most of the 38s you're going to find that are going to be a size that you'd want to carry concealed are going to be a 5-shot. So it limits your ability to put lead down range as far as numbers of rounds. And the second thing that would hurt you about carrying it is its reload time, unless you practice a lot and have a speed loader. Again, I mean, you can see some of the stuff Jerry Mitchellek done with Smith & Wesson that was incredible reloading. I mean, he shot 12 shots on target in less than 2 seconds, and that was involving a reload. And that, my friend, is some amazing, that's like superhuman stuff. But the big thing, I think, is getting a weapon system that fits your hand and fits how you want to carry it. You don't want to try to stick this down in your purse and try to get it out, okay? You don't want to do that. You don't want to try to strap this to your ankle, all right? But you do want to get what fits the situation that you're going to be needing the handgun to match. Where you're going to put it, and what operating system you feel comfortable using. I did want to show y'all something. I understand everybody don't got a range close by, and everybody ain't got a place in the woods. If you live in town or in a city, you can't do that. But you still want to practice, okay? And you just can't literally go out behind your house in town and start shooting a 9mm. If you do that, then they're going to come and take you away, okay? But what you can do is, now Glock has a line of these, and what they are, these look like the exact same thing as a normal Glock, because they are. They're to the barrel, to the sight, everything. They are exactly the same thing as a true Glock. The only difference is, you ever seen a magazine look like that? Okay. Or a port on the back of the handle that looks like that. Okay, what this is an air pistol. It runs off of CO2 cartridges, and it shoots a 177 caliber BB. They shoot really well, and they're a complete mock of Glock. Glock designed these. It actually is made in Austria. If you see on the side of it there, it is an actual licensed Glock pistol. Now this pistol itself cost about $250 if you buy them new. What they are is they were specifically designed for a training pistol. So you can go out in the backyard, you can build you a little square wooden box and throw a bunch of wet newspaper in it, put your target on the front, and practice in your backyard drawing this, finding the target and shooting, and do it all day long. Put one cartridge in this thing, I don't know how many rounds it'll shoot, a couple hundred anyway, I would say, and shoot all day with this thing, practicing with it, and it wouldn't cost you $5. Where if you take your actual handgun and stay all day at the range shooting 9mm, if you don't reload today, especially if you don't reload, you're going to spend some money on some ammo. Okay, but with this thing, they have all the amenities, all the operating buttons are in the same place, the takedown buttons are in the same place, the magazine release is in the same place, everything. So I mean, you can even, with one of these, you can even go as far as, if you want to practice magazine changes, you can drop that magazine, come back, go right back in, you know, and then, you know, that's all you got to do to practice changing the magazine and getting back on target, and you just, if you'll practice it. But it's pretty simple, guys. Honestly, if you're not proficient, and by the numbers, what these people come up with, a lot of people aren't proficient. We need to get there, because if the day comes that you need to draw that weapon and use it to save your life or protect your family or protect your property, and something happens that you can't do it, then you may die, or somebody in your family may die, because you didn't practice, because you didn't try to get proficient. Don't be a statistic. Be someone who rises above that kind of stuff and help out the people in your community. Help your family learn. It's not only your God-given right to protect yourself, but it's your duty as an American, I feel, to protect yourself and your family. And in these days, we need that. Nobody wants to have to hurt anyone. I don't want to have to hurt anyone, and I'm pretty sure nobody that I know wants to have to hurt anyone. But there's a lot of people out there that don't care to hurt you. And it's up to you and your good learning behavior on how proficient you can be to stop that if the situation ever arises. Always try to avoid it. Never run away from it. Because if you run, you just give somebody a big target going away. Guys, this is the Fat Man. Appreciate you watching. I'm gone. Hey guys, if you liked the video, hit subscribe. Don't forget to click that bell so you get notifications the next time we put out a video. Appreciate you. It's the Fat Man. I'm gone.